Hello and welcome back to my Mario Kart Wii modding series. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to get custom characters as well as how to make your own character textures. I will also be showing how to rename characters in custom tracks. So this tutorial, like the first one, is going to require a restart, so I do recommend watching this video on a separate device. Now to get started you're going to need some custom character files. Once again, the best place to go is going to be talkdom.com. And then now, instead of going to the custom track section, you're going to want to go to a custom character section, which is going to be right here. Now download one of your choosing. It really does not matter which one you do. So let's just say I wanted to get Baby Mario during summer. Then go to the download and open up your download. So you're going to see these file names here. You're going to want to drag these into the Mario Kart folder that you had created in the previous video. So we're going to go to tutorial, which is what mine is. Go to files, go to race, go to kart. And you're going to want to drag the files that you downloaded into your kart folder. Once that is done, you're going to want to go to where your folder is contained and open a PowerShell window. Once again, do wit, copy, and then the name of the folder, and then what you want the name to be, the ISO file to be named. So for me, I will do summer.iso. And once again, you're just going to wait for this to finish. Okay, now that you have converted it into an ISO file, you can open up the ISO file and ensure that it has worked correctly. Now the character texture I put was over Baby Mario on the bullet bike, so I'm going to load up that to ensure everything worked correctly. And there you can see that the custom texture has been successfully applied. You can drive around for a bit if you'd like, just to ensure that there's not any lag. And if there's no lag, then you've already finished. You now have a custom character texture in Mario Kart Wii. For this next part of the tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make your own custom character texture. For the next part of this tutorial, I'll show you how to make your own custom character textures. To do this, you're going to need a photo editor of some sort like Photoshop. I personally will be using GIMP because that one is free, and I've linked it in the description below. Go to where your folder is contained and go all the way to the race and then kart, and then edit the vehicle that you want changed. For me, I want to modify Funky Kong on the Flame Runner, so I will be opening LA_bike-FK. Now if you just want to edit Funky Kong's texture on this bike, you can just go to driver model, textures, and then funky. But if you wanted to modify the kart as well, you could go to the kart and then textures and grab these. I'm just going to be doing Funky Kong for simplicity's sake. Now you're going to want to export this and get it into an easy to access location, so I will be using my desktop and making a folder called Funky Kong. And you're going to want to export the Funky Kong TX and Funky All. Now with both of those done, you're going to want to open the photo editor of your choice so you can modify each texture. You're going to want to open both of the files, and you're going to go to desktop where the Funky Kong folder is, and then select both of them. And then you could, if you wanted to, go through and modify every detail. For me, just so I can show that this works, I'm just going to mess with the hue of it so it's a vastly different color. And with that, you can export it or you can overwrite it. I'm just going to overwrite the ones I already had. With that done, you can go back into the file that you are already editing, and you can replace both of the files. Now, if you're going to be wanting to use this on multiplayer, you're also going to want to edit the LA bike _2 and _4, but because I'm just showing this for tutorial, I'm not going to worry about that. The process is identical for these two as well as this one. With that done, you can now test and make sure that it worked. So once again, you're going to open a PowerShell window, and you're going to want to copy the tutorial folder or whatever folder you had, and this one I'll just name it funky.iso. Okay, and with that complete, you can now test and make sure this one worked as well. I'm just going to cut directly to the race to ensure that everything worked. And as you can clearly see, this FunkyCon texture has been edited correctly. Now, the only thing that this texture editing will do was edit the model that is in the race. There's another process that's required if you want to edit it on the menus in the minimap. I personally don't recommend worrying too much about the minimap because it's going to be a lot of work for very little result, but I will still demonstrate how you could do it if you wanted. So, if you wanted to edit more than just the in-race textures, there's going to be a few locations you need to edit. So you want to go to, instead of race, go to scene, and then go to UI, and you're going to want to edit every single one of the base name and _u versions of all of these and replace the texture that FunkyCon had. Like I said, this is a lot of work and I don't think it is worthwhile, but if you wanted to, you could go ahead and do that. What is usually worthwhile if you're playing on Dolphin Emulator, and only if you're playing on Dolphin Emulator, is to modify the driver.scs. And then scroll down to the character that you edited. So for me it's FunkyCon. And you can replace the textures. And with that, you're already done. That texture has now been fixed. So you can go ahead and ensure that that works correctly by making a new PowerShell window. Alright, now I have my game loaded just so I can show that this process has worked. I skipped the other steps that were previously of just copying the file again because I've already shown how to do that multiple times. So as you can see, FunkyCon's texture has now been edited on this menu, so you can tell that it has been changed. Now, final step of this video, I'm going to show you how to rename character and custom track names. So renaming the character and custom track names is the step that will require a restart. You're going to want to go on your computer to WIMS SES tools, and then you're going to go to the website that's linked here, go to the download, then download the version that is for your operating system. I recommend downloading the latest because it's always the highest functioning version, though it doesn't really matter too much. So you're going to want to download this as normal, and then you're going to want to unzip it, and when you unzip it, you're going to run windows install.exe. I've already done this, so I'm not going to go ahead and show you, but once you have finished this, you're going to want to restart your computer. And then when you have that complete, you are now ready to change the track names. To change the track names, you're going to need to go to emulator folder, go to where you have everything saved, and this time go to scene and then UI, and you're going to want to edit all the ones that are in your respective region. So for me, that's going to be everything that ends in _u. I'm going to make a new folder on the desktop so all these are easier to access and I can see the changes made more easily. So let's name this one renaming. So take all the ones that are _u, or whatever your respective region is, but for the United States it's going to be _u. And then you can copy and paste them into here, or you can just drag them in. Then you're going to want to open them up and go to message common.bmg. You're going to want to export this. So I'm going to export these to the renaming folder I have made. Now that you've done this, you're going to want to open up a command prompt. Now, get the exact location of this folder that you have with all these files and type in cd space and then paste it. Now that the reason you do this is so that this command prompt has access to this folder. Then you're going to do wbmgt space decode space and then common.bmg, and that will give you a common.txt document that you can edit to ensure that all these track names are correct. So in the previous video I had modified Waluigi Stadium and changed it to Honeymoon Loon, so I'm going to rename this one to Honeymoon Loon. I'm also going to go down to where Baby Mario is, and I'm going to rename him to Summer Baby Mario. The reason I'll do this is to just show that they both work. Save the text document. Move the BMG file out of the way or delete it. I recommend moving it just so you still have access to it. And then back in the command prompt, do wbmgt encode and then common.txt. That will give you a new common.bmg file that you're going to place in all of these. So to do that, you're going to want to replace common.bmg, save. Open up the next one. Open up message, common, replace, common.bmg. You're going to want to go ahead and do this for all of them. Once you have finished renaming all of them, you can grab all of these files and put them back into the UI folder. And then once again, you're going to want to open up a PowerShell window and then copy and paste as per usual. Once you have opened up your new ISO file that you have created, you can go through and make sure that everything has worked correctly by just seeing if the names are there. So for that, I'm just going to go to time trial to check and go over Baby Mario. It is now Summer Baby Mario instead of just regular Baby Mario. And then the other thing you can do is make sure this track name has been changed. You can clearly see that it is now Honeymoon Loon instead, meaning that this change has worked. The final step of this tutorial is completely optional, but it's just generally helpful for the UI of Dolphin Emulator. So in Dolphin Emulator, to make everything easier while you're still editing, go to View and then go to List Columns and turn on File Name. That way you can see the name of the file that you have created at all times, making it easier to open up the ISO file that you have edited. The other thing that you're going to potentially want to do, though I personally don't like it, is switch to Grid View. And you can notice here that these all have different banners than the default Mario Kart Wii. That is because the RMC E02 name is separate. So if you wanted to have a custom Mario Kart Wii disk image, you can go ahead and do that right now. So to do this, you can download whatever you wanted off the internet. So let's do Mario Kart Wii, let's call it game image. And you can drag whatever one you want. Let's say I wanted to get this one, and I can save the image into the Documents, Dolphin Emulator, Cache, Game Covers. If there's not a Game Covers folder, you can make one yourself. And then name the file the exact file name that is in Dolphin Emulator. So RMCE02 is going to be the same as the tutorial Mario Kart Wii and Dolphin Emulator. And then you're going to want to save it. Now you can load back into Dolphin Emulator, hit refresh, and you can see that the game image has changed. This will make it easier if you're using this view to differentiate between your games. Thank you for watching part 3 of my Mario Kart Wii modding tutorial series. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. I'll see you next time.